Good morning, Mike and Arlen, our Philippine journey. Thank you for dropping by. We certainly appreciate it. Drama in Dumaguete. Sure. It happens everywhere, number one. Number two, what not to do as an expat in a foreign country. And then number three, you probably shouldn't do this shit anywhere. You really, I don't even know how to begin, but let's talk about it.
Why'd you have to go? I guess this world's too slow for you. I think there's beauty in the gray, the cold, but you just want the gold. And there's no way I can beat it, cause I got no chance when it comes to her. She got the glitter and the fame, and I just wasn't enough.
Okay. So, two YouTubers. You have a group of YouTubers in Dumaguete. All right, just like there's a group of YouTubers in Angeles City, just like there's a group of YouTubers in every city, probably. All right. Now, with that being said, one guy, and I'm not going to use his name just because I'm not going to promote his channel. One guy is putting out a series of videos talking about YouTuber expats in Dumaguete. Reality, truthfulness, his perspective, his opinion, his experiences, etc. Now, supposedly, and I use the word supposedly because I just don't know this guy at all. He owns a home, or he and his Filipino wife, and they have a child, own a home in Dumaguete. He's been going there for many years, going back to like 2012 or something like that. I don't know. But they're part of the community. The other guy, he has a Filipino partner, wife, I'm not sure. Mike's Philippine retirement, I believe is the exact word. I've actually met Mike and Janet once. Okay. They came to Angeles City. They wanted to meet me. We had coffee. We made a video. Very nice, pleasant people. I can't say anything bad about them in respect to that interaction whatsoever. That being said, this guy has leveled some huge accusations. All right. He has been talking about Mike and his wife, and has even mentioned his child. And we're not even here to go into that. What we're here to talk about is what kind of a dumbass does it take to go after people in a huge social media format that live down the street from you? And when I say down the street, that's figuratively, all right? They're not right down the street, but they go to the same malls. They share the same boardwalk in Dumaguete. They have the same number of coffee shops. I mean, their lives will intertwine. Now, this guy is currently in the U.S. He's in Kansas City. Those of you know, they know exactly who I'm talking about, all right? And this guy sits in his vehicle and makes these videos. Now, he made some very disparaging remarks and some very disparaging allegations, and says that he has received very disparaging emails. Well, good, fine, big deal. What are you doing? All right? I mean, did you crawl out of Satan's ass crack here? What happened? All right? There's no sense in going after your neighbors. There is no future in that whatsoever. There is nothing positive that can come from that. There really isn't. I mean, if you want to go after somebody, fine. You want to be a troll? Be a professional troll. Be like sick grandpa. Hit it, move on to the next guy. Hit it, move on to the next guy. Be a professional troll. Don't just take it out on all your neighbors. That is absolutely ludicrous. It really is. I mean, if you want to build a channel, all right, if you are so desperate for views and you are so desirable to become monetized and you are so fucking broke that you need that YouTube money to supplement your income, you're in the wrong place. All right. That's really all I can say about that. I mean, you guys think about that. I mean, so this guy says he's educated, college degree. All right. Well, let me tell you, I'm educated. I have multiple college degrees. And guess what? I've met people way smarter than me that never went to a day of college. All right. I know a multimillionaire who runs an impeccable business that went to community college for half a semester when he was a teenager and dropped out. You know, going to college and getting a degree, don't get me wrong, I'm a big proponent of it. I'm paying out the ass to send my daughter through it, all right? But it's not the end all wherewithal. It really isn't. It doesn't make you any better than anybody else. And quite frankly, I know a few college graduates, all right, that ain't so smart. Okay, but that's also beside the point. My point is that as an expat, you have to learn to get along with everybody. You don't have to like them. You don't have to love them. You don't have to buy them gifts. You don't have to give them a birthday cake, but you got to get along with them. You have to be reasonable, whether you like them or don't like them. You have to be reasonable. You have to smile. You have to avoid confrontation. You don't cause confrontation. That's what this guy has done. And I don't know if it's because he's so smart that he thinks this is the way, that's the best way to bring the monetization and views that he needs and watch hours for making money on YouTube. I got no idea. But what's he going to put his wife and kid through? They've got to live in that neighborhood too. They've got to live in that community. I'll bet you money 80% of the grocery shopping is done by his wife. She's got to face these other wives and girlfriends and partners at the grocery stores. They've got to run into these people, maybe the same churches, maybe the same social events. Interaction with these people is not going to be non-existent, all right? Or it could be non-existent if you create a bubble and you just live within that little bubble. Is that retirement? Is that really enjoying? I mean, being weary or being worried about whether people like you, don't like you, whether you'll be accepted. I mean, that could have been part of the problem here. Part of the problem is his attitude may have not gotten him into that little niche, all right? That little groupie thing. All right, that so many YouTubers have to have. They have to be a part of a group. They have to have that acceptance. All right, shit. I got to tell you something. This is the kind of stuff you see in junior high school. You don't even see high school people being that stupid, that foolish. And I call it that, and he can harp on me all he wants. I could care less. We're a tiny little channel, and we don't really get involved in this kind of stuff. But I can tell you this. He needs to really do a couple of things. First off, all right, Mike has taken action, all right? He and his partner have taken action. Now, whether their lives are perfect, whether their lives are beautiful, whether their lives are whatever, whose business is it of that? Their business is YouTube, period. And don't think for a minute it's not a business, okay? It's a business. People like that, they depend on the money that comes in from YouTube, and it's a business. And with that being said, it's simple to understand that you don't go after other people's businesses, and you don't go after their personal lives and their family lives and their family members. All right. Don't forget that Mike's spouse, partner, I'm sorry, Mike, I can't remember whether you're married or not. All right. But um, they've got family down there, and your own wife has family down there, and you don't think those people interact also? You want to go after other YouTubers for their past, for their history? You know, it's open. That's open game. Okay, it really and truly is. That happens when people put themselves out on YouTube. But to go after their wives, even if their wives have a channel, all right, you as an expat don't do that shit. You just don't do it. And there is never an excuse to include even mentioning the fact of the children. That is just absolutely absurd. It really is. That being said, I have no idea what the beef is with this guy, but he apparently, with the exception of one or two guys down there, he has a beef. He certainly does. He doesn't like what they represent, or he doesn't like what he's heard, or he doesn't like how they interacted, or maybe he just didn't wipe his ass well when he sat down at that coffee shop and nobody accepted him. I got no idea. But for those of you that are watching this, all right, there are going to be those of you that know exactly who I'm talking about. So be it. There are going to be those of you that don't. And for those of you that don't, this is an example, a prime example of what not to do in a foreign country. Now, granted, he's in the U.S., and you know something? It wouldn't surprise me if he never comes back to the Philippines. He may have decided that he is never coming back to the Philippines. And so therefore, he's going after everybody to create his own little YouTube heaven, which is fruitless, quite frankly. I don't know if he thinks he's just going to outlive these guys and it'll all blow over in a couple of years or whatever the story is. Really and truly, I have no idea. But what I do know is you just don't do it. That's just like you don't get into a confrontation with the neighbor down the street over petty shit. Now, guy shoots your dog, yeah. Guy yells at your kids, yeah. All right. But the guy has other issues, true or not? No. You don't. You don't do that. You don't do that kind of crap. And, supposedly this guy, his channel, he's already had one channel that got taken down in YouTube. I have no idea there either. That's just, you know what? I'm being almost as bad as them, aren't I? With accusations and allegations, talking about things that I only hear about. And I apologize for that. But after listening to this guy go after all these other YouTubers, many he's gone after, many he plans to go after, many he says I'm gathering data on, okay? That people are sending him documents and this and that. Big deal. Big deal. It doesn't matter, okay? Their lives, their private lives in the past are not what you should judge them on currently, okay? Unless they're continuing that situation. And unless they deal with you. How I treat my neighbor next door is none of your business. You have no idea what's happened between my neighbor next door and I. Not that anything ever has, trust me, okay? But you do understand my point here. If you want to look at Mike's Philippine retirement, Look at the latest video he did. He went to cybercrime. He talks about why he did what he did, what his plans are, and what it was that was so upsetting. He tells his side of the story. It won't take you anything to figure out who the other guy is, and you can listen to his side too, but I'm not going to promote his channel. I'm thoroughly against doing that. I really and truly am. We're a very vanilla, easygoing, simple channel. We've been involved in drama over the past 5 years twice, and that's it. And with that being said, I think that's pretty good considering we've been in the Philippines for 10 years. Don't do this. Don't be like this. Don't take this as an example, all right? Unless you are going to create a YouTube channel that focuses only on drama, that focuses only on presenting stories based on allegations, based on assumptions, things that you don't have solid proof about. At least then people know you're full of shit to begin with, okay? You're just going after the views, trying to make money, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's plenty of those out there, okay? Nothing wrong. But going after a guy, then going after his wife, then going after his kid, then going after a bunch of other YouTubers because they're friends of his, okay? No, this is not the way to do things. Expats need to learn to do, I think, I don't know who came up with this term, but you need to learn to stay in your lane. You need to recognize you got to get along with these people. You've got to see these people. You've got to interact with these people. And more importantly, your families and extended families may have to interact and get along with their families and extended families. The grief that you are going to cause is incredible. I don't know. You guys tell me in the comments, how do you feel about it? All right. We know that there's always drama. Sometimes there's drama in Angeles City with the YouTubers. Sometimes there's drama down in Mindanao with the YouTubers. Sometimes there's drama wherever. Okay. But this is more than just drama. Okay. This is an intentional attack. And what do you think his objectives are? Why do you think he did it if you're familiar with him? And finally, do you feel that he has just burned his bridges so far that even an apology is not going to get him a decent retirement? I mean, he's gone through the trouble of spending money, building a house, supposedly. I don't know. All right, but he supposedly has a house and he built a house and, all those things. He's gone through all of that, and it's quite possible he may never get to use it now. It's made possible that he's willing to walk away from it. And his family, I'm not even going to talk about his family. I'm just going to say they have a vested interest in this as well. Okay? So please do comment below, subscribe, hit the thumbs up. We certainly appreciate it, and have a great day.